And welcome back to another video. It's been requested of me a couple of times that people want to see my build. So here I'm going to showcase my DREADKNIGHT build. It isn't finished, and by no means am I a DREADKNIGHT expert, but I can show you guys what I've done with my build so far. It's not putting out any kind of crazy amounts of damage. I'm sitting comfortably around 9 to 10 mil. 10 mil damage with all buffs active, and my gear is not necessarily complete. I have had to take a bit of a break. My Paragon is quite low as well, but since you guys asked for it, I'm going to show you what I've managed to put together so far. Alright, so we'll start with the gear. Obviously Banner, the Magic Greatsword. I like this sword best because it is attack power and magic power, which helps my attack and magic power balance out, so they're closer together. The reason for that is because Dark Maelstrom, which is our main attack, is hybrid attack power. Now the way hybrid attack power works is it takes your highest damage, which in my case would be magic power. It takes your highest damage, and then it takes your lowest, which is attack power for me, and it times your attack power by 3, adds it to your magic power, and then divides that by 2, and that's considered to be your hybrid attack power, so as to speak. And then it does that hybrid attack power as dark damage. So important things to note. So that's like a little bit of a breakdown with hybrid attack power and how it works. So I would say that Banner is probably best in slot. It also gives you Dark Whispers, which means that there is no cooldown on this skill here, which is going to help for the higher health bosses, as it does damage equal to 4% of their maximum life. So that helps a lot. Then we're just going with Arc Wizard set. I currently have 3 pieces, so that I do have the 3-piece Fatebound for Spirit of the Arc Wizard. It's really important. I use Mage Vestments. Where is it? So I use Mage Vestments for the skill cooldown. The skill cooldown helps a lot with this ability, with Dark Maelstrom, which is your main ability, because the lower the cooldown, the more times you can cast it per second. I have been doing some testing as well, and attack speed increases your cast rate, so it seems. Okay, so it lowers the amount of frames that it takes to cast an ability, from what I've seen, what I've tested anyway. Yep, so we've got Echo Casting, Twin Novae. Echo Casting is by far the weakest, I would say, Fatebound in the set. It just triggers your skill 1 extra time, but that has a 2.5 second cooldown. There is a way that you can reduce that cooldown, but having a cooldown on it is a problem, because it's not going to proc as often as Twin Novae is. Twin Novae also has a damage multiplier in it, which is helpful for your damage output. For my ring, I need to change this ring. I need a better ring. So I'm going to be looking to use this Field Surgeon. It's got backlash on it as well. I just need to roll intelligence boost instead of radiant core and then upgrade it. And Hellxar touch the backlash on it. The reason I want to use Field Surgeon is because somewhere in my gear I want to be using Valiant Strike. And if any of you know how Valiant Strike works, it increases your damage when your health is above a certain percent. Now the problem with this build is that it gets your health low, which is why, well, it uses health at 30%, I believe it is, if we have a look over here. Costs 30% of your current life to cast your main ability, right? So every time we use this ability, it's costing 30% of our current health to cast it, which is why it's so important for this build to have lifesteal, so that we can keep our life up, especially when we're versing bosses. Now, the reason I want to use Field Surgeon is because the damage that we take, either from monsters or from casting that ability, instead will be dealt to us over a period of time instead of instantly. So instead of 30% being dealt to us straight away, it's going to be dealt to us over a period of time, which is going to help us a lot when we're trying to keep our health percent up so that we can proc Valiant Strike. Okay? So that's why I would recommend finding Field Surgeon or the Field Surgeon ring. I still need to get myself a Primo Hellheart for this build as well, because I've put my other Primo Hellheart onto my Vindicator at the moment. But yeah, let's go through the fate bounds real quick. So we've got Dark Whispers from Banadur, Trauma Train currently, Spirit of the Arc Wizard. This is really important. It's a really integral part of the build for the DREADKNIGHT, and it pairs well with intelligence boost, right? So with the Spirit of the Arc Wizard, we are converting 50% of our total intelligence to dexterity, which is going to increase our attack power. And then by increasing our intelligence, we also increase our attack power. So Spirit of the Arc Wizard and intelligence boost work really, really well together. They're just bread and butter together. So good. Mage Vestments for the skill cooldown reduction. Echo casting, pretty self-explanatory. Twin Novae, same with that. Lifesteal, very important. I feel a huge difference between the 3-piece and the 2-piece. 2-piece is okay, but 3-piece is definitely noticeable, especially when you're starting to push higher levels in Valkyrie and stronger bosses and things like that, higher difficulties. This 10%, you're gonna notice it a lot. I've Hellxar touched Backlash at the moment. I wouldn't say it's best to Hellxar touch that, but it's what I've been able to do so far. I haven't been very lucky this season in regards to getting my gear and pieces together the way that I want them. Concentration, again, skill cooldown. Not too worried about the negative damage percent, because that skill cooldown accounts for so much more, that my total DPS is going to be a lot higher than my initial DPS, if that makes sense. For my pet, I'm using, how do I say this, Glaze Hail. I've always got my pets set on loot because I want them to pick up everything. That's what's more important to me. Gives me bonus XP and damage to bosses. The reason I like using this pet is because it's going to help me scale for my Paragon, right? After I hit level 60, I keep using an EXP pet for my Paragons. But as you can see, I haven't been grinding as hard as I normally would. You could also use Grimhell, which is really important for your pets. Let me see if I can show you guys. Alrighty. Yeah, so Grimhell gang, you want to use this one and this one. And all it does is it greatly increases the crit chance of all your allies, but reduces your own crit damage. Now, because you're putting it on the pet, it's going to affect your pet's critical damage, but not yours. So you will benefit from the critical chance that it gives you, but you will not lose out on the critical damage buff. For my skills, I'm just using Spirited Strength for the damage reduction and knockback resistance. I really like knockback resistance personally because it stops you from being staggered. And this build, its main weakness is staggering. It doesn't really have difficulty anywhere else because of its lifesteal and its tankiness. It's really good, but as soon as you get staggered, you can't lifesteal. So as soon as you stagger, your toughness goes down, so as to speak. I use Greedy Dexterity so that he can pick up loot faster, because this build tends to fly through content. And here I've got Rhythm of War maxed out for the increased attack speed. Just remember what I said about Dark Maelstrom. The attack speed affects how fast it can be cast. Okay, so 2 important things to note about the Dreadknight build, right, is cooldown reduction is going to increase the time between each cast. Attack speed is going to increase how fast you cast that ability. That's what my understanding of it is. Now, the only reason I've come to that conclusion is because that's what I've tried and tested for myself. Yeah, so max Rhythm of War. I like to use Blitz. It's a really good movement ability. I only put 3 points into it because the 4th point doesn't reduce its skill cooldown, as you can see there, 1.5, 1.5. So don't waste an extra 4 points in that. Hold your points. Aggression Aura, maxed out. Very important. Increased physical damage and movement speed. Again, attack speed, movement speed when you have Battle Lust. Very good. Now Dark. Void Out. This is such a bread and butter skill. It increases your damage when you pass into the void. It increases your dark damage by 100%. But it also makes you invulnerable for 1 second. So every 6 seconds, upon taking damage, you gain invulnerability for 1 second, which means you can't take damage from outward or outside sources for 1 second. Very important. Astral Aura, extra dark damage, mana regen, pretty self-explanatory. 3 points into Dark Whispers. I put as many points into this as I could possibly fit into it, while not having to spare myself points on this end, right? So 3 points into Dark Whispers gets you that 4% damage to max life, and it pairs well with the sword, Dark Whisper's Domination. 1 point into resistance conditioning. You could put that point into basic training if you wanted to, but I mean, you're only gonna increase your intelligence by 4. Well, with mage vestments, with int boost, it'll be 6. But yeah, not a whole lot to change there. Bloodborne, 3 points. Effectively, you are getting 40% attack speed from this passive, because you get 10 stacks of Battle Lust. So 10 times 4, 40%. Alright. This one maxed out. Dark Commandment. Yeah, max that one out. Increases its own attack speed. Okay? That is not the attack speed of your character, that is the attack speed of Dark Commandment. This one, I really like this, okay? Dreadknight, Dreadnought is really good. So if you don't feel like you want the extra attack speed, I would put those extra points into Dreadnought instead. Dreadnought is really good because what Dreadnought does effectively is, as you lose HP, like as your HP gets lower and lower, your damage reduction gets higher and higher. That's how that works. Obviously, this is our bread and butter skill, Dark Maelstrom, very important. Dark Covenant, this is our buff, like active buff while we're in the middle of a fight. So if I fight the Scarecrow, I just hold that button down and then I pop the buff, and you can see the damage skyrockets. It's very good, very strong buff. Where are we at? Yeah, so that's Dark Covenant, very good buff. And then we have Shadow Manifestation. Physical attacks deal additional dark damage, and your dark based attacks deal additional physical damage. One of the cool things about this particular skill is it pairs so well with Dark Maelstrom, because Dark Maelstrom does hybrid attack power, it does hybrid attack damage. It does both physical and dark damage, and because of that, it directly benefits from this, right? So when we do physical damage with our Dark Maelstrom, it increases, it gives us additional dark damage, and vice versa. Dark damage dealt with Dark Maelstrom gives us additional physical damage. It's just really good skill. Alright, I think that's pretty much all we've got going on. I like to use Mimicry, and I can't remember what that one's called. Where is it? Mirror Mimicry Immobilis. That just basically means that you create another copy of them and they can't move. This one's very good for when your HP gets very low. It's basically I can't die for a very short period of time, but it helps a lot. Then for my Eidolon, I use this one. What is that even called? Esotech 31 DO 10NM. Yeah, that one, the esoteric thing. I use him mainly for this mass extermination. Upon defeating an enemy for 5 seconds, you gain all damage that stacks up to 8 times. So 8 times 4 increases your damage, and it stacks, like every stack is for a 5-second duration. So every time you kill minions or monsters, your damage continues to scale. I still haven't got this Wambastic, but yeah, basically you want to use this for almost any intelligence build. It's pretty busted. It's OP. As soon as I get this, I estimate that my damage is going to increase by a couple million increase just off of this. That passive is so good. This is really important. You need Sagely Countenance as well. It's going to give you an extra node for Spirit of the Arquwizard, which is effectively gonna let you drop an Arquwizard piece. So you only need to wear 2 pieces to have the 3-piece set. That's another thing to take into account when you're doing your Eidolons. But yeah, I'm still yet to get this. Can't rank it up yet. Haven't been able to find any of these pieces, unfortunately. And I use Anubis currently because of Rebirth. When life is negative 25%, restore life equal to 30% of max health. So this is basically like an emergency get out of free jail card. As soon as your life drops below 25%, it will restore your life equal to 30% of your maximum life instantly. This way you can avoid being nuked by the enemy, a boss or whatever. But yeah, that's a general breakdown of my current setup. 2 pieces I'm missing so far are the Primo Hellheart and the ring that I'm working on currently, Field Surgeons, and the Valiant Strike Fatebound. Yeah. Okay, that's my current build. I hope you guys enjoyed that. If you guys have any tips and tricks for the Dreadknight, feel free to comment them below. There might be things that you know that I don't know. Yeah, drop a like, subscribe. It really helps me out, and it really encourages me to share more content with you guys. I'm really enjoying seeing people get interactive, dropping comments, dropping likes. It's really encouraging. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it helps you, and if you have any questions or queries, please comment down below. I'll catch you guys on the next video. Peace.